Hello everyone, good evening. This is Live Issue and this is Lesson. Thank you so much for coming to my channel. Please, if you have not subscribed to our channel, please help us hit the red button so you can get our video once we upload it. This evening, I want to talk about how T.B Joshua died. I just wanted to give myself time this morning and be able to assess what happened, read up what actually happened, and look at the police reports before I say what I had to say, and also give people time to mourn T.B Joshua. So I've been doing a lot of research about what actually happened. Officially, the cause of death is not yet named, but what I'm going to be doing is to look at the circumstances that surrounded his death based on the police report that was released earlier today. So, Lagos State Police Commissioner Hakeem Odumosu actually gave a little bit of insight about what happened that led to his death. So he said that T.B Joshua was officially pronounced dead at 3 a.m. But before he died, he was in church preaching. He was conducting a service. And while he was conducting this service, he felt a little bit weak and he decided to walk to his apartment on his own. So I'm just wondering how come he was left to walk on his own, because most pastors will have protocols, they'll have people that will go with him to his apartment. I don't know how his church is and I don't know where his apartment was, but I have to believe that he's in the same building as his church. So he walked to his apartment on his own and then he never came back. So apparently, the church pastors and leaders waited and waited for him to come back because he was in the middle of a service, conducting a service, and they waited and waited. They didn't hear from him and they decided to go and check on him. I mean, they actually thought he went in to go and refresh himself and then he will come back. But when they didn't see him, they went to look for him. Now, I'm going to believe that because the full detail hasn't come out yet, so I'm going to believe that this might have been an all-night prayer going on because it happened on a Saturday, or it might have been a special healing ministry going on, ministration going on, and the full detail was still waiting. But apparently, when they saw him, he was in a very uncomfortable position. He was almost near to death, and he was very in a very unusual position. Now they haven't told us how he was or how he was looking or the position that found him. Hopefully, the whole story will come out later. They might hide it. We don't know. But apparently, they rushed him to a hospital, and by the time he got to the hospital, he was pronounced dead. All right. So when I saw the whole detail from the police, the first thing that came into my mind was he sick? Was he in any way sick before that time? You know, as a pastor, we also need to understand that you are human, not God. I know sometimes we call ourselves God, we say we're made in the image of God, we say we're like God and everything, but pastors do need sleep. Pastors do need rest. And remember that we are in the midst or we are in the center of a pandemic. I don't know why Nigerian pastors are still ministering and they are still conducting deliverance and they are still healing. Now, we all know that his church is actually made up of foreigners, people from India, from other countries. So he has been continuing, and all this while the pandemic's been going on, he's been conducting his services and his healing ministry. We actually don't know officially what killed him. We know that if it's the pandemic, or if it's some, they won't tell us. I mean, Nigerians now, they will hide it. But apparently, he died in the hospital. And so many Nigerians are talking about that. But his last word before he gave up the ghost was, he told his members, that's his elders in the church that were with him, watch and pray. Now, that is a big word, okay? I wonder what we're watching and praying. Is like a revelation that Jesus is it like a revelation that Jesus is about to come? Is it that I mean from what we read, he said he made them there was time for everything before he left the church, before he left the church hall. His last preaching was that was time for everything, time to die and time to be born. So that was actually his last sermon. And if you notice that the post I made before, the sermon that he had on Sunday before the Saturday preaching was also on the as if he's preaching the same line. It was about seed time and harvest time. So almost the same kind of message. So actually gave up the ghost in a hospital, in a Nigerian hospital. And we're still trying to ascertain what happens to him. I just feel like pastors need to understand that they are also human. That's why I'm making this video. I came across this Sandra Ezekwesili's comments on Gist Lovers page, and she was saying T.B Joshua was reported ill and went to the hospital. Did he teach his numerous followers to try hospitals and not abandon their medication for his holy water and anointing oil? His ministry did a lot of damage. Any conversation that doesn't include that is dishonest. You see, when I saw this post, I know a lot of people are attacking this lady and kind of like trying to shut her up. But these are the conversation that we all need to be having. And this conversation is not what people should be offended at. We need to be having this conversation because while we are passing through the pandemic, when the heat of the pandemic was going on, what were our pastors saying? I know that so many Nigerian pastors, more like they actually conducted business as usual. It was as if there was no pandemic going on. Okay, TV did not in any way say that should not take the vaccine because this girl was talking about his belief. You know, I don't think TV has in any way ever said people should not go to the hospital. It's just Nigerians and their belief. Okay, they believe in their man of God so much. They believe that a man of God will heal them. And the point is that because we have such gullible followers, some men of God actually use them, use that their weakness. So I know I think she has had an experience with T.B Joshua healing. I think her uncle or her dad, I don't know who the chief Ezekwesili is, had had an experience with T.B Joshua. And so she's really literally one of those that don't believe in his miracles. Do we believe that God heals? Yes, of course we know God heals. Do we all believe that T.B Joshua is a man of God? Of course, some people don't. But it doesn't mean that others don't. People believe that he has healed them. It's all about your own personal experience about this man, okay? I mean, she has had a lot of backlash from what she has written, but it's her own personal experience. Some people will go to a healing crusade and they will not get healed. Some people will go and they will get healed. It's all about your personal experience. But I don't think T.B Joshua has actually, I don't think he has actually told anybody not to use the vaccine or not to go to church or not to go to the hospital. It's just Nigerians and their, you know, it is Nigeria and their faith. Nigerians believe so much in the man of God. Now, if somebody tells you his anointing oil or his holy water will cure your disease, it still boils down to your faith. What do you believe in? If you believe he's talking cock and bull story, that's up to you. If you believe he's saying the truth, that's up to you. It's according to your faith. Everybody is given a measure of faith. So whatever you believe in, how strong is your faith in that particular man of God's doctrine and his ministration, it might work for you. There's actually been a report of someone who was sick and was given a chalk, another person who was sick and was given a medicine, but the person that was given the medicine was told it was a chalk, and the person that was given a chalk was told it was a medicine. And funny enough, the person that was given the medicine died, and the person that was given a chalk got well because of their faith. So I'm not here to talk about what she said and what she didn't say. I'm just reporting to you his last moments alive, and the fact that he actually died in a hospital, not in his church. So we need to actually, when we hear from our pastors or when we are sick, know that pastors are human beings. They also go to the hospital. There are some things that you have a headache, you're waiting for miracle. You have eyesight problem. I've spoken about these people that have issues and they will go for miracles, and then these are things that medication is already there for. Why did God give us these doctors and scientists? Why do we have a vaccine for this pandemic? Why did God provide a vaccine as fast as He could? It's for it to help us, okay? So that we don't have to have other people dying. So at the end of the day, pastors do go to hospital, and he did die in a hospital. Just for you to know a little bit about where he died and his last word, and the fact that he actually was he was actually in church ministering, and then he got a little bit weak, and then they found him in a position that was not okay. They rushed him to hospital, and that was where he died. All right, once I get an update on his death and what actually happened and what was the final autopsy report, I will update you guys on it. But for now, this is what happened. All right, thank you so much for watching. What do you think about the story? What do you think about our pastors? I mean, some of them believe that they are, above sickness, above, they are superhuman beings. They can just, even when they are sick, they are still conducting services. They are, they need to understand that this body, the way God has made it, if you don't take care of it, you will succumb to death. And also, remember, pastors do have families, they do have feelings, they do have problems. They are not superhumans. And pastors do die. No pastor is immune from death. And the news getting to me now is that the Redemption Ministry pastor just passed away. I'm going to look for that story also, and I'll bring it to you. I don't know what's going on, but at the end of the day, God knows best. Thank you for watching. God bless you. Bye-bye.